Yeah, it's a pleasure standing here. I will just, after Enno gave quite a lot of case studies, I will present you a somewhat different case study. We do research into attacker tooling and attacker infrastructure. With DCSO, so I put up the logo of the company that I work for once. It's top left corner. I won't mention it again. So I just want to share with you one example which poses many questions. And I don't have any of the answers. I'm not the guy for the answers, I'm the guy for the questions. As Enno just mentioned, that is an important part. So scope, maybe. Enno also put up the scope thing, and I'm quite glad that he opened up with all the theories and a little bit of other case studies, because when he asked me to give this presentation and he told me you have 5 to 10 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I do need to give all this theoretical background and go into case studies in 5 to 10 minutes. Obviously I don't need to do that, because a lot of it has been covered by Enno already, like what about vulnerability disclosure, clients, assignments, theories, relations with vendors. There's like one thing I missed. There wasn't a case study on hackback. Maybe we can get that into your next presentation, then we can tick them all off. So none of that is what I'm going to be talking about. I'll be talking about simply attacker research. Again, just one example with a few questions, and this example is mostly true. Again, I had to make a few modifications. So what I'm talking about is, so we looked into this tool called Cobalt Strike. Who of you is aware of Cobalt Strike? Yeah, okay, like 50%. It's a commercial tool, you can buy it, it's not expensive. Costs $3,500. It's a pen testing / red teaming tool. Whether you like the word red teaming or not is yet another question. And it's a traditional dual-use tool, which is used by criminals / APT groups, like APT10 is known to use Cobalt Strike, and it's quite powerful. You can configure quite a lot of its behavior, and you can use it to do reconnaissance, and you can also use it to do lateral movement, post-exploitation, and it's people like it. It's incredible. There's also online tutorials at YouTube how to, if you don't want to spend so much money, on how to use a correct version. Yet another ethical question, right? On that one, the interesting thing is about correct versions. They all run with the same certificate on the Cobalt Strike server, because you can change the certificate if you crack it. So we looked at that, and basically we looked at the at how the tool behaves. We wanted to understand it, and so we did research, and there's 3 results from this research I want to share with you. Research 1, we found a way of detecting the command and control traffic in internal networks, which is quite nice because it's just passive, so just sniffing traffic, looking at traffic, saying, oh, this is with a very high probability Cobalt Strike C2 traffic. Now questions, ethical questions. What do you do with that knowledge? Do you use it to protect yourself? Do you use it to protect your paying customers? Do you share that information with your buddies, whatever your buddies are, like a trusted community? Do you share that information maybe with national authorities? Do you write a blog post for fame and glory? Next finding. We found a way of fingerprinting Cobalt Strike C2 servers on the internet. They run on the internet, and then they control multiple infected instances. So one Cobalt Strike team server is what it's called, can then manage campaigns at various penetration testing customers or at various victims if you're a criminal, and you can't tell from the outside whether it's one or the other. So we found a way of identifying them using some sort of Nmap magic and some scripting. Again, question. Is it, and Enno already touched that topic. Is it ethically correct to scan the internet to compile a list of command and control servers? It's just for the good use, right? It's nothing bad here. So, another question. Is your intention of compiling that list relevant? So, like if you want to share that with trusted buddies, if you want to use that to maybe block inbound traffic just to protect yourself. So is your intention of compiling a list a dimension you need to take into account while making this decision? What would happen if like a national body with some authority, like the National Third Bund here in Germany, would approach you and say, hey, you know what? Can you scan the German internet? Whatever that is. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, so can you compile a list of C2 servers on German IP addresses for me as a Bund? So you have some sort of mandate. Does that change the situation for you? Third and last research result. Let's assume there is a vulnerability in the C2 server. And that vulnerability, as you are the first one to have discovered it, and there is no patch available, so you'd probably be sitting on a 0 day, allows you to download the C2 the server config. The server config tells you everything about controlled environments, so about either customers or victims. Will you use that to identify potential victims or not? Will you use it? Will you share the knowledge? Will you inform the vendor of the product? Will you go into a responsible vulnerability disclosure process? Will you share that knowledge with a national authority, like intelligence community? What do you do with that knowledge? What do you do with your capabilities? Again, I only have questions. I don't have any answers. For us, as a security research company focusing on attackers, we actually see that ethics is everywhere. I mean, I know you mentioned that too. And for us, it's not so much a question as whether do we need a code of ethics as security research. The question is like, what would it look like? Obviously, it can't be simple like do's and don'ts. This is good, this is not good. Enno pointed out that there is a lot of dimensions we need to take into account. But I believe a code of ethics should actually formulate an approach to come to a decision. A little bit like what Enno has been presenting. And that's all. I'm done. Thank you.